Point click. Tweeter Rooney. And we are ready to take off. Yo, yo, yo. The one named Shadow, what is good? Savage Yuger, what is good? Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? What is good, gamers? What is good, YouTube? What is good, community? This is your boy, Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with a post Microsoft E3 podcast. Let's all be one cohesive unit and hit the like button and help spread the content to a wider audience. I would appreciate it. And make sure you hit the bell icon to stay notified when I put out new content. I would appreciate that as well. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope you are enjoying the content. Garuda Legends, how are you? And so I just got done watching the Microsoft E3, a live reaction stream with Sick Humor, King Thrash, Ian Robertson, and a couple others. So right here, the thing about let's talk multiplats now. So before I get started, there was no doubt in my mind that Microsoft was going to show a lot of content, and I know the majority of their content was going to be third-party content. My big reason for watching that E3 is that Microsoft is slick with their words. You have to listen carefully in order to catch on to what they were saying. And so two things really stood out. They are, King Thrash caught that part of it. Andre 6K, Danny Ruiz, what is up? Savage Yuger, Nicholas Bruton, what is up? Garuda Legends, I believe I said what's up to you, but how you doing again? King Thrash caught the part of it that Microsoft is getting ready to move into a third-party direction. And so he's right about that part. Now, way before I became a content creator, I used to contact King Thrash on the PlayStation Messenger, and I used to have a lot of discussions with him about the direction that I thought that Microsoft was going. Yo, Nicholas, what's good? 15-minute Forza demo and fucking mobile phone game definitely get a point deduction, Savage. I agree. So to finish what I was saying about, when I used to contact King Thrash before I became a content creator myself, I used to talk to him a lot. And I told him that I thought that the Xbox One X was going to be Microsoft's last console. And I was right, but not for the reason that I thought. Sick Humor, what's up? Thanks for listening in, my friend. I know you dog tired from, just doing your own stream, but me, I got an open door policy. You're always welcome to join. A lot of this is going to be rather than focused on what Microsoft has shown, I'm focusing on what direction they're moving in terms of what's coming next in terms of hardware and the direction that they're moving in terms of games as a service, because they are definitely moving forward with that. And so, as I always do, I will send out links to the usual suspects, and those who wish to join may do so. So give me a second while I do the old copy and paste. Copy Twitter. Let's see here. Here, I'll do this. Send one to Gunru Gaming. I've talked to him on the phone over the last couple of days, but I haven't brought him in the stream in about a week. Sick Humor, send a direct message. Again, I know I'd imagine you could be possibly worn out from the stream that you just did, but I got an open door policy, so you're welcome to join. And I know you getting ready to do some other things here, Sick. So I totally understand. Okay. So Ryan Landis, Microsoft bought Ninja Theory. I said that they should work with them on new games. Great move. It was a great move, but you know, we know Microsoft's reputation for micromanaging people. And not only that, Microsoft is going to try to make this company um, build boats when they specialize in building cars. You know what I mean? They're going to try to make them. I think Microsoft's going to try to make them do something different from what they normally do. They obviously showed you that, you know, by the way that Hellblade looked, they showed you that they are definitely a talented studio. And I think Microsoft is basically going to use their skills of, you know, making great looking games and make them implement that towards making a social experience, you know, co-op games, multiplayer. So I think that's what, you know, Ninja Theory is getting themselves into by getting involved with Microsoft. Ben Machiavelli, nothing to make you purchase a new Xbox. I totally agree. You know, and you know, Andre 6K, you know, that's a huge question mark. Why so many games releasing on February 22nd? I mean, see, at first, I'll get to that. Yeah, I just want to read a couple of more comments. Um, let's see here. Adam Wilson, what's up? Right out of the gate, you rated Microsoft's conference 3 snacks out of 10. You know, Wanye Tuda, they're trying to sell consoles. They don't say, you know, TBD anymore. JP Local, rest in peace, Ninja Theory. Ryan Landis, we'll have to see. Microsoft had to invest in companies. It would have been the worst if they didn't. I agree. You know, but buying Ninja Theory, you know, which I'm guessing is a indie studio. I give Microsoft credit. That was huge because they're going to be able to, you know, they can probably get AAA results out of an indie studio because Microsoft will have the resources to give them the tools that they need. You know, so the question is will Microsoft put them on a tight ass budget and micromanage the shit out of them? You know, will Microsoft have them do some Sea of Thieves type shit where they take shortcuts and leave the Kraken out? You know, and all we get is these tentacles sticking out of the water. And so, what was your game, Wanye? You know, I'll tell it to you like this. There was no Microsoft exclusives that made me say, I got to have this. But I will tell you, I just got done talking to my son, and he already asked me if we can get Gears 5. I already told him yes. So that's going to be a day one purchase for my son so much, and not for me. But because of the game share, I will have the game as well. So that's one purchase right there. As far as the entire presentation, the only games that drew slight interest with me was the Jump Force game, which was the 3D fighting game that looked like it had characters from Dragon Ball Z and Naruto in it. That interested me a little bit, and I think Dying Light 2, you know, might have interested me a little bit. The Division 2, hey, you know, whether I'm interested in that depends on how many modes it has, because I'm just not big into this co-op stuff. You know, if I'm going to play online, I want to do more online head to head. You know, I still want your traditional death match, team death match, and that kind of stuff. You know, if I'm going to express any interest in the Division 2. You're absolutely right, Ben Machiavelli. They have no exclusives that will be Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2. You know, nothing. I definitely agree. Nothing for Shadows Die Twice or Devil May Cry. I've never played one. Yeah, I've never played any of the Devil May Cry games. It's just I don't know if I'll be interested in it, but I can tell you this, just like, you know, Sick Humor and King Thrash said, any of those multi-plats that they showed that I'd be interested in, I'm more than likely to buy them on the PlayStation. Because I don't care how much shit they show. That's still no reason for me to jump up and go buy an Xbox One X. Yeah, Nicholas, you said this is what Sony meant when they said they were going to crouch low now and jump higher in the future. The picture is coming into focus. I mean, basically, Sig Humor said it. Microsoft took all the third-party shit that Sony might have been interested in showing. So, so in keeping with the subject, I'm gonna, get back to what I was saying about when I used to have conversations with King Thrash through the PlayStation Messenger. This was my belief, and I'll say that I was right that the Xbox One X was going to be their last console, but I was probably wrong in what I thought was going to follow afterwards. So here's what I've said it before. Here's what I thought was going to happen, because when the Xbox One first launched and we were seeing all this shit about the frame drops and the screen tearing, freezing, terrible download times, all this shit, I said, how can the world's most powerful console for $500, perform so terribly? It doesn't make sense. And I thought that, graphically, even if the graphics were slightly better than the PlayStation Pro, they still look good, no less. And in some games like Star Wars Battlefront and Madden, there was a noticeable difference. They still look great on the PlayStation Pro, but they looked even better on the Xbox One X. I'm not going to lie. Out of all the games that I had tested, with the naked eye, Star Wars Battlefront and Madden, I think those were probably the two games where I only had to look at it once with the naked eye and I could see a difference. But a lot of the other games, I'm running back and forth between different bedrooms and making these comparisons, and I just couldn't tell a difference. So, then, we got the performance issue with the console. Like I said, the frame drops, the freezing, the screen tearing. And so I used to contact King Thrash, and I told him, I said, here's what I thought happened. I thought that it had been known for quite a while that investors and the brass wanted Microsoft to sell off the Xbox brand. And somebody, in my belief, somebody was hanging on and keeping this dream alive to keep the Xbox brand around. And I don't know who greenlighted the development of the Xbox One X, but my belief is that, halfway through development, I don't know if it was for reasons, maybe development costs exceeded their predictions, their expectations, and I felt like the brass was about to pull the plug on the Xbox One X, and I believe that someone from the Xbox division convinced the Microsoft brass that, hey, if we quit this project now, we're going to lose a bunch of development money that we invested into this project. So let's finish this part out. Let's finish this project out with, bare minimum parts that'll just get us by, to cut down on development costs. Let's finish this console. Let's put it out on the market for $500 so we can get our development money back as soon as possible. Whereas normally, I guess normally people like Microsoft and Sony will sell the console at a loss in order to make that money up on selling games. So my thought was that Microsoft was ready to get out of the hardware business and go strictly software. So my belief was that somebody convinced the brass at Microsoft to let them finish developing the Xbox One X at minimal cost, Let's just do enough to get by. We'll sell the console at what it cost us to make it, so we're breaking even, and then let's get our money back, and then let's get out of the console business. That was what I thought their plan was. Now, I was right that the Xbox One X is the last console. It's just not for the reason that I thought it was. I thought it was going to be their last console because they were ready to get out of the hardware business. So it appears that they're not quite ready to get out of the hardware business, but they are done with consoles in the traditional sense, consoles as we know it. And so that's where listening to that E3, that's where you had to, have your detective skills ready and listen carefully. So Savage Uger said on the oh, okay, you're talking to Tuda Wanye. Phil pretty much confirmed Fable in development, though. Never been interested in Fable. See, I didn't hear that part, JP Loco. When we had our post discussion and we were talking about stuff they didn't show, we didn't hear anything about Scalebound. We believe we didn't hear anything about Fable. We didn't hear anything about Perfect Dark Zero. We didn't hear anything about Sunset Overdrive Part 2. So anyway, getting back to the part where I caught on to it. Yeah, Princess, most of it was multiplats. Now, getting back to why I believe that this is the last console, Phil Spencer said, it sounded like he said, the same team that brought you the Xbox One X is hard at work on the next Xbox device. He did not say console. He said device right there. That's where you had to read between the line. That is confirmation that the Xbox One X was their last console in the traditional sense. So that is their last traditional console. They're not done with hardware. And so I believe it is what I believed all along. The next iteration of Xbox is going to be a Steam box, because he said it. He said he wants to be able to bring people a console level experience through streaming, and that the next Xbox, that the next Xbox device, that they were working hard on the next Xbox device, and there you go, right there. The next Xbox will be a Steam box. I am absolutely convinced of that. So, and as much as I hate to admit it, when they come out with this next box, it's going to be a box that they could use. They'll be able to use this this Steam box, whatever it is they're going to make. They'll be able to use it for the next 10, 15 years, because most of the processing power and the graphical power is going to be supplied by the cloud. And so now, when I said that Microsoft could very well make a Fire Stick, it might have sounded crazy back then, but it doesn't sound so crazy now. It's something they very well could do if they wanted to. So now, a Steam box that is the plan, Princess. That is the plan. It's Steam box, where you have to, a Steam box where probably Game Pass is going to be the feature service on that Steam box. Phil said Playground Games are working on an open world game. More on that down the road. So that could be Fable. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be called Fable, though. Evil Prada, what's up? JP Loco, what's up? Adrian Drake, what's up? EJ Johnson, what's up? Ryan, what's up? So now that we got that out of the way, that the next Xbox is going to be some sort of Steam box, a good question is what will it cost? Now, I have to admit, They could very well beat Sony in that department. So I'm going to look it up real quick. But if anyone wants to answer what a Steam box costs right now, if you can beat me to the punch, then I'll just go with your answer. But right now, I'm going to look it up and go to the Best Buy website. Mm. Oh, here. Um, Best Buy's search is crappy. Mm-hmm. 500 to 1,400 bucks. Is that for a Steam box, Princess? Yeah, definitely multiplats. Whether you know, shit. Well, let me go back to here. I know what I'll do. I'll go to Newegg. Where are you, Newegg? I'm looking for you. There it is. About to say, I hope it. Are you serious, Princess? 900 bucks for the Steam box? Let me go back. Look at that shit. $900. Holy shit. See, I'm at Newegg right now. See, but I type in Steam and so I'm typing in Steam and I'm getting all these damn cards for games and other shit. Ooh, so okay, so okay, Google Steam box costs. All right, let me do that. Showing pictures that match. Shut up. Holy shit. Now there is a Princess. I am looking at an Alienware Steam machine for $377. Mm. This shit basically like purchasing a PC. If you want the best experience, you gotta drop that dough, $1,400 to the high end one. So I thought the Steam boxes was just a one and done deal where you just go in and buy one box and that's that. Oh, so you gotta drop some dough if you want the best experience for those Steam boxes. With that being said, it's very well possible that Microsoft could follow that same route. That the next Xbox, Xbox Steam box, whatever you want to call it, there's going to be more. There's a good possibility that there could be more than one iteration of that Xbox Steam box. Now, I would go on a limb to say that their cheapest one could cost $300, and the most expensive one would probably cost $6. Because I think the whole thing of it is they're still going to try to present it to you as a console, but just moved into the future. Yeah, I mean, Sick Humor said it best, Princess, that Microsoft basically did Sony's work for them. Microsoft showed mostly multiplats, and if these multiplats are still going to come out this generation, most of them are going to get sold on the PlayStation. So they basically did Sony's work for them. Beta Mephisto, what is up? So now that I got that out of the way about the Xbox Steam box, we know that's on the way now. I took down some notes on my impressions of pretty much each conference, each presentation that I was able to take notes on, because they did have one moment where they zipped through a lot of shit. So now start at the top in the order that they showed them. The Halo Infinite. I guess it was a demonstration, an engine demonstration. So we were discussing that in our post E3 live stream, that the finished product could turn out to be something totally different from what they showed. The Halo in the jungle with dinosaurs and shit like that. The final product could turn out to be something totally different. But I will admit that the trailer looked good, but no gameplay. So I expect it to be, the graphics could be downgraded, or the actual game itself is going to be, another first-person shooter game where all you see is the damn rifle handle in front of you. I mean, I'm definitely a person that, like, when it comes to first-person shooters, to an extent, you've seen them all. J Dog, I agree. Sony's show will be more laid back and slower, as they're going to talk about the four bangers. And Sony, I'm guessing, is going to show more gameplay on those four bangers. And that's what at least with us, the panel that I was part of today, that's what we wanted to see. And that's mostly what E3 failed to deliver on yesterday. The only thing they showed gameplay on, for the most part, was Anthem and that fucking Command and Conquer, that fucking strategy game that's on mobile on a fucking phone. And then they brought in those two dorks to do, commentary like it was some kind of Super Bowl or something. So I think with Sony's E3, yeah, I think they're going to show more gameplay, and I think that's what everybody wants to see. Now, the Toxic Xbox are probably going to be looking for that so they can try to say that there's a downgrade in graphics when you see the actual gameplay. Yeah, it is what it is. So, Adam Wilson, one thing that is for sure is that Xbox players won't be interested in Kingdom Hearts because, for one, the others were not on the Xbox, and because to them it is one and done. I agree with that, Adam, but I don't know. Um, Yeah, I agree that they're not going to buy it, but I disagree in the sense that they're going to brag that they got another game on the Xbox. You you said you heard that Halo Infinite JP Loco may be a third person shooter, not first person. Um, Still though, you get the picture. Third person, first person. I mean, you reach a point where so many of them out there. You've seen one, you've seen them all. So it's like, whichever one interests you the most. I'm a type of person that if you put 10 first person shooters in front of me, I'm probably going to buy one or two of them and that's it and call it a day. I'm not going to buy all 10 of them because all 10 of them, for the most part, the basic mechanics are all going to be the same. So that was a quick one. And then let's see here. Next up was Ori, I guess, in the Will o' the Wisp. Uh, it was a good looking game. I'm not going to lie, but it's a 2D game. And just like that Unraveled that E3 showed yesterday, EA, I'm just not interested in 2D games. I mean, I was done being interested in 2D games when the Sega Genesis died off. So next up was a samurai game called Shadow Die Twice. I wasn't terribly impressed with the graphics because it didn't look like anything that raised the bar. But it does look like something I might be interested in. I wouldn't buy it day one, but it does look like something that I would be interested in. And then there was the Fallout 4 backwards compatible announcement, which, so what? I've never played any of the Fallout games, and I've had a couple of them. You got to take off. You got to take off, Savage. All right, we'll catch you later. And for those who are watching, once I get done with this stream, because I only plan on being on here for about an hour. And then once I get done with this stream, I got to do a couple of things to get ready for work tomorrow. And then I'll do another game stream, whether it's MLB The Show or whether it's um, GT Sport. But out of my streams, between those two streams, there seems to be more interest in GT Sport. Yeah, JP Local, Shadow Die Twice. It definitely wasn't trash, but I don't know if it's something that I'm going to buy day one, being that I got my mindset on Ghost of Tsushima. And then you have to keep in mind, I don't got bread like that. I don't got money to burn. So I have to pick and choose which of these games I'm going to buy. And so next one, let me see what was after that. Let me go back up here. Then there was the Fallout 76, again, a CGI trailer. Adam Wilson, you had fun chatting with me about Major League while you played MLB The Show. Yeah, hey, I still may go ahead and go with MLB The Show, and stream that. I'm still searching for another win. And plus, it is easier to talk to all of you guys when I'm streaming MLB The Show, because I can take a few seconds to read the comments before I throw a pitch. Whereas a racing game, if you take your eyes off that track for 1 second, especially coming up on the curve, you're going off the road. Oh yeah, absolutely. Get that wow thing on. Wow thing. And so the Fallout 76 CGI trailer, that's all I'm going to say. It's a CGI trailer. I'll talk more about that when I see some actual gameplay. I've never played any of the Fallout games, so although I've had a couple of them, I had a couple of the Fallout games, but never played them. That was during my days when I was burning my own games. And I know for a fact that I burned Fallout 3, and I popped it in long enough just to make sure that the shit worked. and then I threw it in the pile. That's what I did with a lot of the games during the 360 generation. And that's kind of what started me down this road of fucking around with a lot of games and not finishing them. And so then there was this bullshit game called Captain Spirit. Looks like a kid game where a kid is imagining he's a superhero with superpowers. And I don't know. Super Lucky Tales looked like it was a game for 8-year-olds, and this Captain Spirit looks like it's a game for 12-year-olds. You know, or even 10 years old. Oh yeah, that's right. The Captain Spirit is a free game. So with that being said, I may go ahead and download it just to add it to the backlog, but I'm like 99% sure I won't play it. And then the next presentation was none other than Crackdown 3. Does anybody want to give their thoughts on that Crackdown 3 presentation before I give my thoughts? I will take a second to wait for a couple of comments to come in. Adam Wilson, you've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 since 2005. Woo. Crackdown 3, Delayville. Impatient Fire, Crackdown 3 was straight up trash. That's what the reason why I wanted to wait and give everybody a chance to chime in on Crackdown 3 is, did any of you notice there was no multiplayer footage in that presentation? They were able to give you multiplayer footage of Horizon. I mean, Forza Horizon 4. They were able to give you a live demonstration of multiplayer of that when they had about 5 people sitting in front of dead kids playing that game. But you notice they did not show multiplayer footage of Crackdown 3. That tells you right there, that is where the problem is. Microsoft lied about why the game has been delayed. Basically, it was clips of it was basically clips of a Crackdown character with Terry Crews's head on it, jumping around, blowing up shit. But none of it was multiplayer. And that's my whole point where I'm going with that. That multiplayer is still fucked up. It's still in an unplayable state. We've heard the stories. We've heard, Microsoft tried to claim that they delayed the game to give the development team more time to polish the game. That is a complete lie, because if they felt that strongly about putting out polished games, they would have gave the development teams more time to polish Sea of Thieves and State of Decay. And you saw how those games released. So that's a lie right there, Microsoft. Then there was the other line that the single player isn't going so good. And I'm led to believe that, since single player, the campaign, that involves using actors, motion captures and shit like that. How could something like that be a problem? And not only that, if it was that bad of a problem, if the single player aspect of it was that bad of a problem, but the multiplayer part of it was ready to go, then why didn't they just do what Activision did and just cut out the campaign like Activision did with Black Ops 4 and just put the multiplayer aspect of it out there and maybe sell it at $40? So that tells you that was a lie right there. And then that brings us to the reason why I believe that Crackdown 3 has been delayed. With the release of a lackluster Sea of Thieves and a very buggy State of Decay 2, Microsoft has shown that their standards are pretty low right now. that they don't seem to have a problem putting out broken games. So if they don't have a problem putting out a broken game, because I was a firm believer that Crackdown 3 was going to get released broken. If they're at the state where they have to push that game back, that tells you that the multiplayer is unplayable. If you can't get Crackdown 3 to run better than a fucked up State of Decay 2, then that multiplayer is seriously fucked up. Of course, Adam Wilson, that all Microsoft does is lie. That was my whole point of watching that E3. Not to see what they were bringing to the table, not to see what games were supposedly coming, but to try to see how slickly they would word shit, because Microsoft is a bunch of politicians. They say shit in such a slick way. So the next presentation, I guess, was Nier Automata. So what? If I want it, I'll get it on the PlayStation. That's all I can say about that game. It's a multiplat. And then the next one was Metro, and two things stood out about that. One was the panel that I was on with Sick Humor. They all believed that Metro looked like it was downgraded, that it didn't look as good as last year's trailer. And the thing that stood out to me was that the game is releasing on February 22nd, 2019. The same day as Anthem, the same day as Days Gone. What the fuck is going on? I mean, don't they all realize that they all going to hurt each other with 3 games releasing on the same day? And well, we don't have an exact confirmed date for Crackdown 3. They did say that it's going to release in February. So my guess is if they release that shit in February, they better be releasing it February 1st. Because if they release it after February 22nd, that game will get swallowed up. Adam Wilson, you just said it right there. Microsoft just basically paid to show off all the games we will get on the PS4, and Sony will show off their true exclusives. That's exactly what Sick Humor did. What he said, that basically Microsoft spent money to do Sony's job for them, to show off a bunch of multiplats where the majority of them are going to get sold on the PlayStation if they're still going to come out this generation. You said you're going to be buying Anthem and Days Gone and also Kingdom Hearts 3 at the end of January. Cool. You said give you that new conspiracy, huh? That, hey, the title of this stream could be taken as a conspiracy, but I think that's facts, because you have to you have to pay close attention to what he said. That Phil Spencer said that they want to give gamers a console level experience through streaming. And with that being said, the team that brought you the Xbox One X is hard at work on the next Xbox device. He said console level experience, and the team is working on the next Xbox device. He didn't say console, he said device. So that tells you right there, the next one is not going to be a traditional console. Whatever they put out next, it is not going to have a disk drive. That is for certain. Whatever they put out, it is not, my guess is it may not have a very strong processor in it, if one at all, because most of the processing power is going to come from the cloud. Yeah, the Xbox Steam box is coming. The question is when are they going to, the question is how much is it going to cost, and when are they going to bring it out? Oh, yeah, of course. The Xbox would hype up green toilet paper if it had the Xbox logo on it. That's how mindless they are. And so, what do we got next for the next presentation? We got we just talked about the Metro downgrade and the February 22nd. And so next was Kingdom Hearts. Just I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I'm not gonna say it's trash. It's just not for me. A Final Fantasy looking game with characters that look like they were straight out of Final Fantasy, Disney Zoo Tycoon, and other shit. JP Loco, I really think that is a possibility that if they put out some kind of a Steam box, that it could be $800. But to me, that shit will be DOA. It will be dead on arrival, especially with Sony trying to target the PS5 costing $400. Which are you going to buy? You're going to buy a $800 Steam box, and if you got an internet connection that might be below 30 megs, you just don't know how it's going to perform. Or you're going to buy the $500 PlayStation 5 along with them doubling down on first party games and still investing in VR. Which one sounds better to you? Adam Wilson, they just might try to bring out toilet paper, Xbox toilet paper. Hey, and I wouldn't be surprised that if along for every purchase of Xbox for a 4-roll of Xbox toilet paper, you will get a 1-day subscription to Game Pass. Truth be told, JP Loco, if the PS5 doesn't have a disk drive, I would prefer that it did. But if it doesn't have a disk drive, I'll be fine with that as long as I can still download games and as long as I can still, at some point, put an external hard drive on the console. Because lately I've been buying a lot of my games digital, not so much, but because of the convenience, but because a lot of the games that I've wanted to play them at midnight instead of having to wait to go to the store the next day to get the physical disc. Yeah, exactly. Fuck streaming games because, it's cut and dry. You lose your internet, you lose those games. Exactly, Adam. As long as I still have access to my entire catalog and be able to connect it to a digital, connect an external hard drive to the console, as well as not having to be connected to the internet to play these games, then I'm good with it. So the PS5 is that's going to be a day one purchase. JP Loco, my internet is trash though. I struggle just to download digital titles. You know what? In it I found out JP Loco is not just it could be not just your internet. The Xboxes. I found out my standard Xbox One and the Xbox One X, when it comes to downloading games, it is absolute trash. What I found out, especially if you buy, not even if you buy, I found out that on the Xbox One X, that there seems to be 2 downloads going on simultaneously: the game itself and then the Xbox One X enhancement patch. Those two seem to be downloading simultaneously, and they won't let one of them get ahead of the other. If one of them gets too far ahead of the other, it seems to bog down and let the other one catch up. And because of that, like for instance, Forza 7, when I downloaded that game on my son's Xbox One X, the total shit was like 90 something gigs, and I think it took me like a day and a half to download that shit. Not so much because of my internet speed. I had 18 megs down. It wasn't so much because of my internet speed, it's because of those simultaneous downloads that I was talking about, that they were downloading simultaneously, and the Xbox would not let one download get ahead of the other. If one of them showed signs of getting ahead of the other one, they slowed it down and let the other one catch up. And so that's complete garbage. So, yeah, Patient Fire, you can't wait for Sony's conference tomorrow. Same here, but what I'm really waiting for is later on this evening or even tomorrow. I can't wait to see what kind of YouTube videos are going to go up, about reaction. I want to know if the Xbox automatically feel like they won E3, even though the majority of the shit that was shown was multiplats. I want to know if they felt like they won E3. And if they're going to go dancing in the street and burning down buildings and shit like that, celebrating. Now, if your Xbox is literally trash, JP Local, you'll be in even worse trouble trying to download a huge file onto the Xbox One X. So let me see. Oh, so the next move. So we talked about Kingdom Hearts. Here's the next one. And they consider this an exclusive because Microsoft, Phil Spencer said they were showing 50 games. 18 of them had exclusivity. And the other ones was like, what did he word it? World premieres. They already say it Xbox One. Hey, I knew they was going to say that. In my opinion, honestly, in Patient Fire, I felt like all they had to do was show Forza, Gears, and Halo. I figured they probably had to show Anthem because for whatever reason, the Xbox are acting like Anthem is exclusive to their console. So they probably needed to show that. Last year, they acted like Metro was exclusive to their console. So all they needed to do was show the normal 3 hitters that they got and add a couple of more with them, and the Xbox were going to claim they won. Yeah, I got you, JP Loco. So at the end of the day, you're definitely not going to want this Xbox Steam box. Ben Machiavelli, more than what they can do on Crackdown. Exactly. So anyway, so the next presentation was the Sea of Thieves DLC. Sea of Thieves DLC. Well, I'm not going to knock them for showing that at E3 because Sony did show DLC, the Frozen Wilds or whatever it was for Horizon Zero Dawn, and everybody was hyped about that. So I'm not going to knock Microsoft for showing Sea of Thieves DLC. You said Impatient Fire. The conference for you was a fail. For me, Crackdown 3 still looked bad as they lack new IPs. Exactly. I'm still going down the list of all the shit they showed, but at the end of the day, to give you the condensed version of it, the only exclusives that they really showed, the only AAA exclusives that they showed were the normal Forza, Gears, and I said the Halo. But King Thrash stopped me on that and said something didn't look right about that Halo Infinite shit. So he refused to call it a AAA exclusive. So if you want to take that out of the equation, Gears 5 and Forza 4 were the only AAA exclusives that they showed. So based on their exclusives, based on the exclusives that Microsoft showed, I give their E3 a 4 out of 10, maybe a 3 out of 10. The overall show, I give it a 7 because even though it was a lot of third-party shit, they did show a lot of shit. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Adam. Andre 6K, you said, why should it have DLC, but it's not a single player based game? I totally agree. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth when they showed that DLC trailer. I'm like, okay, is this more multiplayer shit, or are they finally adding a story to this game? So that was the big question. But either way, there's nothing they could do with it. Whatever, make me buy that shit. Up next, they showed 3 snacks out of 10. Exactly. Impatient, a 3 out of 10 based on the exclusives that they showed, but a 7 out of 10 overall. But I think that the Xbox got bamboozled, that they really didn't in terms of exclusives. No, they didn't get, other than Gears and Halo and Forza, they didn't get nothing that was rumored. They didn't get the Scalebound that was supposed to have come back to life. They didn't get the Sunset Overdrive 2. They didn't get the Perfect Dark Zero. Now the Halo, the Fable thing, no, they did an announcement, but they didn't announce it. But I'm not going to say that it's not coming because Playground Games is supposed to be working on something else, an open world game. So that could be Fable. So if that be the case, we'll probably find out about that next year. But based on the rumors that was going around, the only thing they showed was that Gears. The only thing to me that was really confirmed was the Gears Halo game, Gears 5, and the Halo Infinite, and the Forza Horizon 4. That was the only shit that was confirmed in terms of the exclusives that Microsoft was going to show. All the other shit that was rumors, no, it never materialized. Yeah, Adrian Drake, I agree. They was just happy to see something, even if it had been done a million times. And Chili Hog, you think Sunset Overdrive 2 will be shown next year? We'll have to see. But you know what that means? Two things. The Xbox are going to claim victory for today's E3, and then they still going to throw that shit at you. Wait till next year's E3. Wait till E3. Wait till E3. You say Ben Machiavelli, Insomniac don't like Xbox no more, bruh. Why develop a Sunset Overdrive 2 if Xbox don't buy nothing? And that's why, at the end of the day, a lot of this shit is going to move towards Game Pass is going to be the feature to try to get all this shit on Game Pass. They're going to be paying for the subscription and not for the games. So that's going to make them think they're getting value for their money, only paying $10 a month to have access to all these games. Oh, you know what? I also wanted to point out something, another slick thing that I thought Microsoft said. When that woman talked about Game Pass, she said over 100 games. How long has Game Pass been out now? Few months? Here's where I'm going with this about the Game Pass thing. I think Game Pass has been out over a few months now. And she used the word over 100. with the bulk of these games on Game Pass being last generation games, 360 games, don't you think after 3 or 4 months that they should have had over 200 games now? And they should have been saying on Game Pass over 200 games? No, she said 100. So here's where you had to be slick and catch what they were saying. Game Pass has been out 3-4 months now, and she said 100 games. What that tells me is that Game Pass 100 is the target number. They're not going to go much over 100. So what's going to happen is next month, when they get about 15 games added to Game Pass, they're going to drop 15 games. Because if they keep adding games to Game Pass and don't drop any of those games, that's more people that they're going to have to keep paying for Game Pass. So 100 is, to me, 100 is always going to be the target number. I think PlayStation Now, if I'm not mistaken, PlayStation Now says that they have over 650 games in their library. Don't you think that if Game Pass is going to keep constantly adding games to the service, that after 3 or 4 months in service, that they should have had at least 200 games in their library, being that these games are composed of mostly 360 games, but yet they're still saying over 100? That's what it's going to be. Game Pass is going to stay at 100 games. Give or take. They add 15, they drop 15. The only way they're going to add games to Game Pass but not drop any games, in my opinion, is when they add their own first-party exclusives to the library. They add Sea of Thieves. No, they're not going to drop anything. They add they add State of Decay. No, they're not going to drop anything. But if they add Grand Theft Auto 5, they got to drop something, because it's going to cost a lot of money to pay Rockstar to keep, Grand Theft Auto 5 on Game Pass, to give you an example. So any new third-party games that they bring in, whatever the amount of third-party games they bring in, they're going to get rid of some older, slower games that's not moving. So that was some of the other slick shit. And then the other thing that we talked about on the panel was this Game Pass fast start thing. And I didn't get a chance to really figure out what that was, because I wasn't able to totally hear what she was saying, because there was a lot of noise going on, people giving the comments, and then I had 2 windows open and trying to hear, commentary from both of these windows. So I didn't quite catch what fast start is going to be. But King Thrash theorizes that fast start is probably going to be a premium feature that you pay extra for, so you can download games faster. And what he thinks that is actually going to be is that you'll be streaming the game while it's downloading in the background. And he thinks that's what fast start is going to be. And he thinks it's going to be a premium feature that they're going to charge extra for. Insomniac probably still wants to own Sunset Overdrive. Now look, Chili Hog, if I'm Sony, or even Microsoft for that matter, I don't give a fuck who the developer is. I would be absolutely crazy to hand you over $35 to $50 million to have you develop a game for me and then let you walk away with the game and own it. That's crazy. I'm paying you $35 million to develop the game, plus another $5 million for your services, so everybody on the staff can get paid. So we're looking at $40 million, and then I just let you walk away with the game. That's the vicious fight that Prince was caught up in, trying to get you know, trying to get the masters for his early music because Warner Brothers still owned that shit and he was trying to get it from them. And though I understand Prince was trying to get the rights to his own music, at the same time, the record company, Warner Brothers, owned that shit. So they'd be absolutely crazy to hand that shit over to him because all of Prince's early music, When Doves Cry and, I Want to Be Your Lover and all that shit, those are still hits. And those songs still got to be making Warner Brothers a ton of money. And it would be absolutely stupid for them to hand that shit over to Prince just because he says he wants them. That's giving them free money. But what this whole Insomniac, same thing. Even if the game don't sell, that's giving them free money. You want me to fund this venture and then just let you walk away with the game. It don't work like that. You want to own the game, you spend the money and publish your own shit. Simple as that. So this is actually one time where I take the side of Microsoft and Sony. I'm on this side on this one, actually. So, next up for the presentation, we had the Battlefield 5 trailer. And something that the panel pointed out when we did the live stream was yesterday during the EA E3, they showed basically CGI shit. And then they said that there would be more gameplay to be shown during Microsoft's E3. Microsoft didn't show any actual gameplay. They basically showed the same trailer that EA showed, and it was trimmed down. It was a shorter version of that shit. So that puts me back to square one that I'm not sure if I'm going to buy this game on day one. JP Loco, you said Sony needs to keep Insomniac within their good graces, or Insomniac may walk away. Hey, that's one way of looking at it, JP Loco, but here's another way of looking at it. If Sony decides to let Insomniac do another game for them, they'll, give them creative freedom. Whereas Microsoft, on the other hand, would turn them into something that they're not, because Microsoft is going to micromanage the shit out of them and probably tell them, no, we don't want any single player shit. We want, we want co-op or multiplayer. I mean, there's a lot of people that's already concerned about Ninja Theory. They're already worried about Ninja Theory hooking up with Microsoft. They act like, Ninja Theory made a deal with the devil. Angry Joe said he was going to upload new Battlefield 5 footage today. We'll have to see about that one, because if it's some shit that we never seen before, we'll see if he doesn't get a copyright strike. Impatient Fire, Battlefield 5 presentation was fail. I wonder why they're going to show the campaign. I've seen the multiplayer on other YouTube channels. I mean, the multiplayer is going to look the same as it always have. So at this point, I don't know. I just don't know. I guess at this point, the only thing that might make me buy Battlefield 5 day one is if I think the single players is compelling. If I think if I think the single player, the campaign is compelling, then I might buy it day one, because the multiplayer is going to look the same as any other Battlefield game. So the next one, we had to Yes, Microsoft did acquire Playground Games, and I think I didn't hear it, but Sick and all the other guys said that I think they said that Playground Games was working on an open world game. So I think there was people in the comments that was taking that as that could be Fable. Oh, okay. JP Loco, you said EA said he could upload the new footage today when the embargo lifts. He got permission from, wow, shit, that's a bad dude if you're talking to EA themselves. Oh, we'll just have to wait and see if he does show anything. So up next was Forza Horizon 4. It was a good looking game, but it is not my kind of game because I like realism. And when they showed that clip of a McLaren going from the street to cutting through somebody muddy ass backyard with hills and shit like that, no, we all know a car like a Lamborghini is not flying through a fucking grass field at 200 miles an hour. That shit ain't happening. So that's some arcade shit that's just not for me. Don't have a problem with it. I'm not going to say it's trash, but like I said, I like racing simulators. That's why I love GT Sports so much. But the one thing we did point out is that when we were talking about it live was that the developer, as they were showing the 5 people playing the game live against each other, he did say that, you could play it by yourself, but it's much more fun to play with friends. So this is going to be another game geared towards Gears as a Service, where it's going to be some kind of another social experience, as they like to say on the Microsoft side, where you make your own experience with your friends. That was a complete turn off to hear that shit right there. So no, I will not be buying that game. Anything that says social experience where you make your own experience, no. You provide me with the entertainment. You don't just throw a toolbox in front of me and say, here, make your own shit. No. You provide the entertainment for me. You say, for real, it should have been in London, more realistic. Now that I played a demo of one of the Forza Horizon games. I think it might have been Forza Horizon 2. I might have played the demo of that game, and it caught my attention for about 5 minutes. Jamal Adams, what's up? And if you want to know the truth, I think Forza Horizon is a ripoff of MotorStorm on the PS3. If anybody remembers that racing game, that was the true racing game where you're going across all these different environments, where you're going across mud, shooting across, streams, shallow streams and that kind of shit. That was, to me, if I'm going to buy a game where you're cutting across yards and shit like that and driving through people's backyards, that's the game I would get, a MotorStorm type game. Like I said, a motherfucking Lamborghini going through somebody's backyards, avoiding cows and shit like that just don't set in well with me. Fuck that. Chili Hog, those games are also, I think they're also on my list, of notes that I took. And, and I will get to those. So not to spend too much time talking about Forza Horizon 4. It was a good looking game, but it looked like some arcade shit to me, and it's just not for me. Then they talked about, some studios that they acquired, The Initiative, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games. That's cool that they acquired some games, some studios. But what I've taken from that is that they didn't acquire AAA studios like a Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica or something like that. So what that tells me is that these lower level studios are being brought in so they can be paid cheaper. They can be paid less money to develop games like State of Decays and shit like that, only a slightly better. So they, just enough to make people curious so they can go buy, Game Pass subscriptions to play whatever these studios put out. So as far as I'm concerned, those developers that I just named off, they were acquired to be Game Pass developers, as far as I'm concerned. Not necessarily to put out AAA games, but to put out games that they can shove out on Game Pass, games that won't cost a ton of money, but they might be attractive enough that people will buy Game Pass memberships to look at them. You know what, JP Loco, truth be told, I don't give a fuck if it's Sony or Microsoft. I could give a fuck less about all these announcements about the studios that they acquired. Talk to me when they actually put out shit that you can show me. You made the announcement that they that you bought these studios, but they might not be able to show us shit for 2-3 years. So talk to me then. What's this right here? Live at E3. So that's my take on this shit. I think these studios were bought for the sole purpose of developing games for Game Pass. Like I said, there'll be some games. I believe there'll be games that's only going to be slightly better than State of Decay in terms of the graphics, in terms of performance. After that disaster of State of Decay 2, I do think maybe Microsoft will give these developers a little bit more time to develop games that ain't going to run like shit. At least that's what I'm hoping. So next up, you say, okay, chill. Next up, I don't know. I ain't gonna snap about this next one, JP Loco, but I can still give two fucks less about it. And that's PUBG. Winter 2018. Looks like another map. Will the fucking game be fixed by then? Will they get this fucking frame rate issue and this screen tearing shit solved? That's all I got to say about that. Hey, Chili Hog, if they want to show those studios, like I said, that's fine with me, but it's going to go in one ear and out the other unless they've got some material to show along with the announcements of these studio acquisitions. I agree, J-Dog. I don't think, Microsoft is sweating over this I don't think Sony is sweating over this Microsoft conference at all. I agree with you 100%. And this next one absolutely had King Thrash and Sick Humor, laughing out of his socks. And that was, I guess this game is called Tales of Vesperia, a world premiere. And they were laughing at that because they said it was a world premiere for a PS3 game. Because King Thrash said he had already beat the game on PS3. And so I just, hey, typical Microsoft shit. Just brought a previous PlayStation game over to their platform and, acting like it's theirs now. So that's a quick one on that. Next up was the world premiere of The Division 2. The game looked okay to me in terms of the graphics. Again, nothing to raise the bar. It just looks like it's on par with what's already out there. But the game seems to center around co-op. And I can tell you right now, I said it again, I'm not that big on co-op. So the only way I would be interested in buying this game for the multiplayer aspect is if they had like deathmatch, team deathmatch, your normal normal multiplayer modes. I'm not for this. I'm not for this co-op shit where it's supposed to be a social experience where you make your own experience. Fuck that. So if that's and the game seems to center around that. So if that's what this game is going to be about, then no, I'm not interested in it. I played the first division when the beta was out, and I just couldn't get into it. Chili Hog. I thought you was getting ready to go to damage control for for Microsoft. He said, "Can we take a sec and appreciate the fact that Minecraft ain't shown up at Microsoft E3 and Microsoft at least did better than EA?" Hey, I said that, as you know, yeah, Nicholas, the panel, Sick and King Thrash was saying the same thing, that the Division 2 looked exactly as the same as the previous one. So it's probably not going to be on my radar. JP Loco, you said if that's Vic Kid, and you talking to Loco about Crystal Dynamics is the studio that created the new Tomb Raider trilogy. And so, actually, Chili Hog, going back to what you just said, I didn't think that they would show some Minecraft shit, because how much further can you go than to show that Minecraft was in 4K last year? A bunch of square blocks in 4K. How much further can you go than that? So, Microsoft obviously had the marketing rights to a lot of the shit they showed. So, I mean, that fits in with King's Thrash's theory that they're looking to become third party. You said, Adam, you said Microsoft might as well do what Atari did and go bury the Xbox and all the games they haven't sold in the New Mexico landfill. Adrian, I'm going to get to that. Jump Force is definitely on my list of notes, because remember, I took notes on everything I possibly could, and that conference lasted at least an hour and a half. Oh, I just got a message from King Thrash. I don't know if he sent me an invitation or if he's waiting to get one from me. So let me go ahead and send him one, which I thought I did. So give me a moment, folks. Copy, close. Twitter. King Thread, send a direct message. Paste, send. There you go, Thrash. If you are still watching this, I sent you a link through Twitter. Okay. So yeah, Thrash, if you happen to be listening, I sent you a link. I think, as far as the stuff that I plan on covering on what we saw today, I'm probably about 60% through it. But definitely come on in. So where was we at? Next up was going to be the Game Pass 100 games, but I've already talked about that little slick move that I thought Microsoft did. That they said over 100 games, and they've said that for like the last 3-4 months, over 100 games. So right there, that tells you that as they bring in more third-party games, they're going to throw they're going to throw other third-party games out of the library, because 100 seems to be the target number, that they're not going to carry more than 100 games as far as third-party games in this library. Because you have to stop and think about it. If they keep adding shit to it and not dropping stuff, they're going to keep spending more money. You know, they're going to have to keep paying more and more publishers to put their shit on Game Pass. So that was part of my Nostradamus game. Get you on to that shit. That as they add shit to a library, they will drop shit. So next up, what do we got next up? Tomb Raider. Look good, but never played Tomb Raider. I mean, all the shit that they showed to me looked like Uncharted Lost Legacy. The action scenes, you know, sliding down the waterfalls. You know, the villain that they did, Eric Arazo, what's up? The villain that Lara Croft was dealing with, you know, reminded me of the villain that Chloe and what's the other one goddamn name? Nadine. Chloe and Nadine, the villain they were dealing with in Uncharted Lost Legacy. It seemed like you had similar villains in both of those games. So no. Tomb Raider didn't do nothing for me. Won't be buying it. Yeah, I don't know if I added Cuphead 2 DLC to that. I don't know if I have that listed on here. No, I don't. But hey, thanks for pointing that out, Chili Hog. You know, I thought it was going to be Cuphead 2, but yeah, it was Cuphead DLC. I'm not gonna knock them. Same deal. You know, it's no different than Sony, you know, showing DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm not gonna knock that part, but I've never played Cuphead and don't really have any, you know, plans on playing it. So next up was the skateboard game called Session. Again, that's another game that I don't plan on buying, but I will admit it did look good, and I will admit that it's about time for a skateboard game to come back, because it's been a while since, you know, Skate, whatever the last Skate game was. So I'm fine with that. Don't plan on buying it, but don't have a problem with it. You know, but again, it's another third party game. So if I thought it was Skate 4, Chili Hog. I really did. But it didn't matter. My whole point is that if it was something I would have been interested in, I'll buy it on the PlayStation. And then next up was Black Desert. And I actually got to go to YouTube and look this up for a second, because kind of forgot what it was, because at that point they were starting to fly through shit. So let me look at this for a second, everybody. Give me a second. Oh, fuck no. Nah, not for me. Looks like your same old game where the person in the center is using all kinds of magic and lightning and all kinds of shit like that. And just, you know, using magic and just electrocuting everything around them. Not for me. Again, not another game that I'm going to say is trash, but just not for me. And I'm not really big on medieval games. It takes a pretty special medieval game to keep my attention. And so then I think with next up we had Devil May Cry. I think what was it? I don't know. I don't know if that was a timed exclusive or not. So I'm going to look at this trailer again. I'm going to spend about 15, 20 seconds looking at this trailer again. So sit tight, everybody. So this right here, this Devil May Cry. I think this it comes in the spring of 2019. Yeah. This guy's got a robotic arm, a sword, and a robotic arm. And then the chick that's with him, the brunette with the glasses on. When I first saw her with the glasses, I thought maybe this was gonna be some Scooby Doo shit. And I thought that was supposed to be I thought that was supposed to be what's her name, Thelma or whatever. Oh well. His Xbox is a great multi-plat box. So yeah, Devil May Cry, just didn't do anything for me. Now, for those who were asking me, it did look good. Impatient, just again, another game that didn't interest me. The majority of that shit that was there that did not, the majority of that shit that was there did not interest me. Now we finally got to something that may interest me, and that was that Jump Force fighting game. I mean, when they first showed the trailer, and I saw that that swirl sign on the back of his outfit, I thought this was going to be something. I thought it was going to be another Naruto game. And then when they showed some of the characters from Dragon Ball Z, and then showed a split second of gameplay, it looks to me like it's going to be a 3D fighting game. And I like fighting games, but not, I like 3D fighting games more than I like 2D fighting games. And games like, Street Fighter, they're 2D fighting games. And and I like games like Tekken where it starts out with a 2D view, but certain moves can show you a 3D view. So that's what that game looked like to me. So if it's a 3D fighting game, Jump Force might be a game that it won't be a day one purchase, but if it's something that I could catch on sale, I might possibly get it. So my interest in that game is lukewarm at best. The Mortal Kombat games, Adam Wilson. The only thing I'm interested in the Mortal Kombat games is how creative can they be with the fatalities, because the gameplay itself, the punches, the kicks, and shit like that, the characters they've always moved stiff in that game. It's not fluid like to me, it's not fluid like the Tekken games. They always look stiff. So where are we at now? So we just talked about Jump Force. Now this one does interest me. Dying Light 2. Now this Dying Light 2, that does interest me. It looked like it was, part apocalyptic, zombie type game, or I guess water is like the most precious element. And the game also has decisions you have to make with a Detroit become human type element. where you make choices and there's going to be some consequences for it. But the game seems to be more action packed and more, more interactive in terms of you having to shoot people and shit like that. So that Dying Light 2, that is a game that I am interested in. I didn't play the first Dying Light. Both Adam and Adrian, I did not play the first Dying Light, but I'm definitely interested in this second one. Make no mistake about it. Because I definitely like the choice element where you have to make decisions, because that's going to add replay value when you finish the game and you can go back and play it again, because the developers even showed you in the trailer. You made one decision and some shit happened where some people were coming after you, and then they replayed that whole scenario again where you made a different choice and there was a different outcome. So I'm definitely interested in Dying Light 2. But again, that's a game that if I buy it, is definitely going to be bought on the PlayStation. So let me see. Next up was a CGI for Just Cause 4. I have Just Cause 3 on both consoles. That was a game that my son wanted because he liked that, he had a grappling hook and was bringing things to him, or using the grappling hook to pull himself to things or enemies. I doubt that I'll ever get around to playing Just Cause 3. I bought it for my son on the Xbox because he wanted it. And I bought it. No, I didn't buy it on the PlayStation. I think it was I think it was free. PlayStation Plus. So who the hell gonna turn down a free game? Even if I don't plan on playing it, it's still a free game. And I have an external hard drive on my PS4 Pro, so I got a good amount of room. So, and plus it was a CGI trailer, no gameplay. So therefore, that's one of those things that I just have to wait and see when they finally do provide some gameplay, what I think of it. So, yeah, Adam, I'll be honest, Detroit Become Human, I absolutely love that game. And the choice element of it, was the biggest part of that game. But I will admit there wasn't much part where you shooting after people, you shooting people, throwing grenades or what have you. Now this Dying Light looks like it has that element. It looks like it has the element of a first-person shooter where you're still making choices, and that looks like a great combination right there. The first-person element or the third-person element that you're actually playing the game, but you're making choices that's going to put you in those situations. So that is a game that I am definitely interested in. No, you're right, Adam. They don't have none of that shit. So next up, after Just Cause, because I'm nearing the end, because I only got about 4 more things to talk about, because I think I kind of stopped taking notes after that, because after they showed, after I get to the last piece, Microsoft basically showed a recap of all the shit they showed, just put it together in a quick little collage. But next up was the Gears Pop mobile game. When I first saw the Gears Pop mobile game, when they showed that trailer, I'm like, first thing hit my head is how the fuck did Little Big Planet wind up on the Xbox platform? Because that's what those characters look like. They look like some shit right out of Big Little Planet or Little Big Planet, whatever the fuck the game is called. And so a mobile game, that's in the story. I mean, except the fact that that's just proof that Microsoft is trying to get their games across all devices. That's proof of it. Next up, we have Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics. That is the Gears of War strategy game. And I've never really taken the time. I've never really put too much time into any strategy games because I think they're boring. If anything's a point and click game, strategy games seem to be a point and click game. You point where you want your troops to go, and that's it. From there, once they take position, you give them the order whether you want them to attack or defend. So with that being said, this Gears Tactics, I think the only thing that separated this strategy game from any others is, my guess is, some of the shit that you're doing. Bethesda's E3 starts in about 30 minutes. Am I going to watch it? Probably not, because I'm going to have to, but I'll try to wrap this up within the next 30 minutes, though. I'm probably not going to watch it because I still got to get some shit ready for work. The usual, whatever I'm going to wear to work tomorrow, my lunch and all that kind of other shit. Excuse me. And then I want to be able to I want to have time to game. And again, I want to either stream MLB The Show or GT Sport. So once I get done with this stream, that's the plan, is to get everything ready for work and, get that out of the way, and then do some streaming, because it's already 8:30. Because I want to have, I want to be able to stream by 9:30. So I want to be able to stream within the next hour. So I want to have this wrapped up, within the next half an hour, and then whatever I need to do to get ready for work, have that taken care of within the next half an hour, and then stream. As far as the Bethesda E3, they're not under the Microsoft, they're not under the microscope the way Microsoft was. And my whole purpose of watching that Microsoft E3 was to see what kind of slick shit they would do and see if anybody was smart enough to catch it, because they were going to word shit like politicians. So I think this Gears Tactic, I think what separates this game from any other strategy game, as I was about to say, is that, what it seems to me like, if you attack something and you destroy something, it looks like there's going to be a cutscene to reflect that. That's about all I can come up with that. And then we have the Gears 5 trailer. It's another rinse and repeat. We all agreed that it's another corridor game. The split second of gameplay that they showed, it was like a microsecond of gameplay, looks like the same shit. So I am going to end up getting this game day one, because my son already contacted me and asked me if we can get this game when it comes out. And I've already told him, because, my son has loved Gears of War ever since he, I think ever since he was 4 years old. Yeah, I mean, so what? So what, Vidiot? Gears is still rinse and repeat. What's your point about Uncharted? But if you were also paying attention to the whole thing, I was about to say, I wasn't finished what I was going to say about it. My son wants this game, so I will have it day one because of the share feature, and I will play the campaign, because that's what I'm interested in this game, is the campaign. At the beginning of the trailer, I don't know who died and who they were covering up. Originally, I thought it was JD, but I didn't realize that JD was the captain. That, he was bald with a beard and had that scar running down the right side of his face, and he was the splitting image of Marcus when Marcus was young. So I originally thought it was JD that was dead under that, under that blanket. But now that I realized that JD was the one, that they were getting ready to go, go AWOL against, I think the person under that blanket that might have been dead might have been Oscar, because Kate had a close relationship with him. And we know at the end of Gears 4, I'm sorry to throw the spoiler at you, but we know what happened to her mother at the end of Gears. So I'm thinking the person at that trailer, I'm thinking the person that was dead under that blanket was Oscar. And Raymond Rodriguez, this was a great show if you're a PlayStation gamer. All of them third parties and no exclusive content or timed exclusive. Yeah, that's what I said. Based on, based on, yeah, video. Now you make sure you pay close attention to this. Based on what they showed, as far as exclusives go, it was the same shit. Gears, Halo, Forza. And that indie looking Ori shit. That's it. Based on what they showed as far as exclusives go, that E3 gets a 3 out of 10. Based on the fact that they showed a bunch of third-party shit, that E3 gets a 7 out of 10. To me, console launch exclusive still sounds to me like third party. So I don't give a fuck less if it's going to be on the Xbox for a year first. If you want those bragging rights, go ahead and take it. Isaac Munoz, yes, I'm not gonna say Forza sucks, but it's not for me. I think I said what I said about Forza Horizon 4, that a Lamborghini driving from the street to going through somebody else's backyard and shit like that on some arcade shit is not for me. And then as far as Forza 7 goes, with no penalty system in place to promote clean racing, everybody that I played on that shit they race is so dirty. I know what console launch exclusives means, Vidiot, time exclusives. But do you know what third party means? Time exclusive means that when that time runs out, it goes to the other console. So I could give a fuck less about the time exclusives. So time exclusive is not exclusive. But if you want to, take an Xbox victory for that, go right ahead. The comment section, no, because I was too busy taking notes and watching the watching the E3 itself. What I need to watch the comment section for? Captain Thug Nasty, what major time exclusives did you see? Xbox. Hey, good question. Go ahead and answer that. I don't know. I'm reading what they're saying. I'm not confirming whether what they're saying is facts or not facts. But one thing's for certain, a time exclusive does not make it an exclusive. Adam Wilson, thanks for joining us. And enjoy the Bethesda show. So, anyway, as I was going to finish saying about the Gears 5, yes, it looked like a rinse and repeat, but I am going to play it. There you have it. And lastly, there was Cyberpunk. I don't know. It's a good looking game. I don't know if I'll buy it or not. Hey, I didn't read every single comment, Vidiot. I read the ones that stood out. So if somebody in my comment section said they didn't show time exclusives, then I missed it. But since this is my comment section and you want to hold me liable for it, so be it. Captain Thug Nasty, facts. That conference does not merit a $500 console purchase. Facts. What is up, Craig Harris? I'm just wrapping up. Otherwise, I would have gladly invited you in here because I just commented on Cyberpunk, and that was the last presentation before. Vidiot, you say the hate comments always stand out in every video I make. I mean, this shit didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, if you didn't have a company that created a $500 console and put out IPs like State of Decay is broken, you wouldn't have this kind of shit being said. It is what it is. And the general consensus is, and it wasn't just in my comment section. You know, this was going on in Sick Humor's comment section too. The general consensus is that in terms of exclusivity, that E3 was garbage because it was the same shit. You know, it was the same Gears, Forza, and Halo, rinse and repeat. Overall, it was a 7 out of 10 because the amount of content they showed, even if it was third-party shit, they did show a lot of shit. Now, the third-party shit that they showed, all I'm saying is that I'm buying it on the PlayStation. Impatient Fire, the complete lack of new IPs means the conference for me was a fail. I want to see gameplay. And no, so like, let's get this straight, Vidiot. My main focus of tomorrow's E3 for Sony is to get dates on some of these PlayStation VR games that I'm looking forward to. Firewall, Blood and Truth, Special Forces VR, Alvo. So you trying to paint a narrative for me because of, you know, how people feel about your Xbox, E3. So now you're trying to paint a narrative that I'm hyped over games that they've said something about the last 3 years. But, the Xbox criticized Sony for that shit. But the last couple of years, because they haven't had anything, now they want that same roadmap that Sony's been providing for their players. I don't care if they are exclusives or not, Vidiot. I don't know where you're going with this. I don't care if they are exclusive. Nonetheless, there's still VR titles that I'm looking forward to that are coming to the PlayStation. And I want dates for those. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to use Sony's E3 as a reason to jump on Microsoft's head. So I don't know why you're making this a Sony me trying to make this out to be a Sony versus Microsoft E3. It's not that. I was listening. EA's E3 was total garbage, and if you would have been paying attention, you would have seen my my E3 stream on that. I spent about a good hour and a half talking about that being garbage. I never made an argument about whether or not it's exclusive. I simply said that a lot of the shit they showed was third-party stuff, and I'm going to be buying it on the PlayStation. End of story. What else do you need to hear? And then as far as that goes, I know for a fact Alvo is not a PlayStation exclusive for the Sony VR. Special Forces VR is not an exclusive either. I do believe Firewall is an exclusive, and I do believe Blood and Truth is an exclusive. But let me reiterate this for you, Vidiot. I want dates to those games, and that's it. That is what my Sony E3 is about. I have a PlayStation VR. Not an Oculus, not a Vive. I want to know when those games are going to come out on my VR. There you have it. So, yeah, Playbox. That was the whole purpose of this. That was the main focus of this podcast, Playbox, is that the next Xbox is not going to be a traditional console. You had to pay close attention to what Phil Spencer said. They are looking to bring you console level experience through streaming. Therefore, the team that brought you the Xbox One X is working on the next Xbox device, not console, device. Translation, the next Xbox is going to be a Steam box. So, you know, play Xbox on your phone, epic win. And that one, you must be arguing with somebody else in the comment section video. Whoever you arguing with, I'll let y'all have that. You know, I'm pretty much about ready to wrap this up. And so, all in all, there you have it. The next Xbox. Bring harmony. What do you mean? What am I wrong? What if I'm wrong? You're saying what if I'm wrong about the next Xbox? Let's try this again. According to Phil Spencer, they're looking to bring you a console level experience through streaming. And the development team that brought you the Xbox One X is working on the next Xbox device. He did not say console. He said device. So if you're talking about a device, so put that all together. A device that is going to bring you a console level experience through streaming, to me, equals Steambox. That is your next Xbox. It is almost a certainty that it will not have a disk drive. So, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sue me. But if you think that the next Xbox is going to be a full-blown console, a traditional console as we know it today, so in any case, that is my opinion. I think the next Xbox is going to be some sort of Steam box. I think the Xbox One X was the last traditional console that Microsoft put out. Yeah, patient. The current the Xbox One X is the last traditional console for Microsoft. The next one's going to be a Steam box. Yeah, it's going to be a Steam box with Game Pass being the feature service on this console. And that's one of the reasons why I think, Microsoft acquired all these studios. To me, it looked like they acquired a bunch of indie studios and AA studios. And to me, it looks to me like they're going to have these people make games, geared towards Game Pass. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, Bring Harmony. It's an opinion, not facts. That's my opinion. I believe the next Xbox is going to be a Steam box. Anyway, Vidiot, you said, dude, both systems have a game service. Of course they do. Microsoft is going to elevate that service with the next iteration of the Xbox. That's what I'm talking about. Chances are this next Xbox isn't going to have a disk drive. Danny Ruiz, Xbox celebrate new indie studios. I will admit that I think them getting a hold of Ninja Theory probably was a diamond in the rough. Because even though I haven't played Hellblade, it is an amazing looking game, and it's still a game that I want to get. It's still a game that I want to play at some point. So What's my take on PS5 Bring Harmony? It's a day one purchase. Plain and simple. Ninja Theory might do Scalebound. Very well possible. I won't, I definitely won't rule that out. So, with that being said, I think it's about time for me to get ready to wrap this up. So to answer your question about these two consoles, Bring Harmony, the PS5 is a day one purchase for me. Because they provide the kind of entertainment that I'm looking for in terms of their exclusives. The Xbox, on the other hand, if this next Xbox turns out to be a Steam box, this cloud base, if there's a situation, especially if there's a situation where the amount of broadband that you have comes into play, where you're gonna need 100 megs or something like that to get the best experience, hell no, I'm not buying it. Because I'm not about to start spending $100 a month, for 100 megs of internet service. There you go, putting words in my mouth again, Vidiot. Is a day one purchase based on what they've done this year. Based on what they've done this year, and them making statements that they are doubling down on first party games. So, hey, but I got to give you credit though, Vidiot. You are a true champion for the Xbox brand. You fight to the very last breath. Geico, you blown away by Cyberpunk 27? Is Cyberpunk isn't that a third party game? So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming by. And wow, 2 hours long, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, Microsoft did show a lot of shit, even if it was third party shit. Only a couple of things caught my interest. But they did show a lot of shit. I definitely won't take that away from them. So up next is Sony, and hopefully I'll get some dates on the VR titles that I got my eyes on. If they show actual gameplay instead of more CGI trailers on the big 4 games that they're talking about, hey, that'll be cool. But like I said, my main focus is on the VR titles that I mentioned. And, if we're going to get some confirmed dates for those, because first time I saw trailers for all these VR titles that I'm looking for, they were supposed to have 2018 release dates. And I'm hoping we'll get some confirmed dates tomorrow. So, again, so thanks again, everybody who came to watch. Give it a like. I appreciate it. And if you happen to catch this podcast on the replay, you know what I say. Give it a like and make sure you lock the door on your way out. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so I can get ready for work, and then try to. Hey, no problem, Guy Code. After I get ready to, I'm going to get set to get everything ready for work tomorrow. Once I get done with that, I'm going to jump back on the PlayStation and stream either MLB The Show or some more GT Sport. So if you want to join me in the comment section, give your thoughts on what you saw on your E3 and stuff like that, yeah, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. That pretty much goes for everybody. If everybody wants to rejoin me on, on my stream when I do MLB The Show or GT Sport, and you guys want to chime in on what you thought of the Microsoft E3, you know, feel free. I would, you know, I would welcome that. And so, you know, hey, you know, Isaac, if I can get everything taken care of for work, you know, I'll try to do both. I'll try to do a GT Sport stream and a MLB The Show stream. You know, so as far as work goes, Chili Hog, all I'm doing is just getting my stuff ready for work. You know, just, you know, getting my clothes, whatever I'm going to wear tomorrow, make my lunch and all that kind of stuff, and try to get that shit knocked out within the next half an hour, and then jump over onto the PlayStation. Hey, you about to go lay down some rubber now? All right, J-Dog, get in there and get that win, man. Show them what time it is. So thanks everybody for watching. I definitely appreciate it. And for those who's going to join me in a little while on another stream, we'll see you when you get there. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. You know, thanks for commenting and keeping this conversation alive. I think it was a good podcast, and I appreciate it. You guys are the best comment section. You guys are the best community. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I definitely appreciate all of you. And we'll see you in a little while. All right, this is your boy Lincoln Clay, and I am out.